in the serene suburban enclave of Brookfield Heights, where the aroma of freshly cut grass mingled with the laughter of children playing in the streets, there existed a tale that sent a shiver down the spine of even the bravest residents. It was a story whispered in the hushed tones of late-night conversations, a legend passed down through generations, a tale of the ice cream truck that prowled the neighborhood after dark, its haunting melody heralding something sinister. Timmy Johnson was no stranger to the whispers that permeated the neighborhood. At 10 years old, with a mop of unruly hair and an insatiable curiosity, he had heard the stories countless times. But on this particular evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the street lamps flickered to life, Timmy found himself drawn to the lure of the ice cream truck's eerie song. From his bedroom window, Timmy watched as the fading light of day cast long shadows across the quiet street. And then, like a specter materializing from the darkness, the ice cream truck appeared, a relic from another time, its paint chipped and faded, its music box wheezing out a haunting melody that seemed to echo in the stillness of the night. Timmy's heart quickened with excitement as he watched the truck glide to a stop at the corner of his block. The vendor, a shadowy figure obscured by the dim glow of the streetlights, emerged from within, his features obscured by the darkness. With a mixture of trepidation and exhilaration, Timmy slipped out of the house and made his way toward the truck, the gravel crunching beneath his sneakers as he approached. The melody grew louder with each step, its hypnotic rhythm weaving its way into Timmy's subconscious. As he reached the truck, the music seemed to envelop him entirely, wrapping him in its eerie embrace. The vendor regarded him with a silent nod, his expression inscrutable beneath the brim of his hat. Timmy hesitated for a moment, his hand trembling as he reached out to place his order, a simple chocolate cone. The vendor's eyes, shadowed and unreadable, followed his every move. With a sense of foreboding gnawing at his stomach, Timmy accepted the ice cream cone, the chill of the night air sending goosebumps prickling across his skin. He took a tentative lick, the taste of chocolate mingling with the metallic tang of fear on his tongue. And then, as if on cue, the music changed, a subtle shift in tempo that sent a shiver down Timmy's spine. The once familiar melody warped and twisted, its sweet notes contorted into something altogether more sinister. A chill swept through the air, raising the hairs on the back of Timmy's neck as he looked around, suddenly acutely aware of the emptiness of the street. The vendor had vanished without a trace, leaving Timmy alone with his rapidly escalating panic and the oppressive weight of the night. And then, just as he was about to turn and flee, a voice cold and malevolent whispered in his ear, sending a jolt of terror coursing through his veins. "Enjoy your treat," Timmy had hissed, the words dripping with malice. "You've just made a deal with the devil." With a cry of fear, Timmy stumbled backward, his ice cream cone slipping from his grasp and tumbling to the ground, forgotten in his haste to escape. He watched in horror as the ice cream truck faded into the darkness, leaving behind only the echo of its haunting melody and the lingering scent of fear. To this day, Timmy refuses to speak of what happened that fateful night. Some say he was lucky to escape with his life, while others whisper that he made a deal he can never undo, a pact forged in the darkness with the mysterious figure who lurks in the shadows of Brookfield Heights. In the heart of Brookfield Heights lies Oakview Park, a picturesque sanctuary where the neighborhood children gather to play beneath the shade of ancient oak trees and the watchful gaze of the setting sun. On this particular summer day, the park bustled with youthful energy as children laughed, ran, and reveled in the freedom of their innocence. Among them was Sarah, a spirited girl with fiery red hair and an insatiable thirst for adventure, and her younger brother Tommy, who trailed behind her with wide-eyed wonder. As the afternoon sun cast long shadows across the park, Sarah and Tommy joined their friends in a game of tag, their laughter mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. But as the hours passed and the sun began to sink below the horizon, a sense of unease crept over the park like a shroud, casting a pall over the once lively atmosphere. It was then that they heard the distant strains of music drifting through the trees, accompanied by the faint jingle of an ice cream truck. Curiosity piqued, the children followed the sound, their footsteps quickening with each step as they ventured deeper into the heart of the park. But as they rounded the bend, their excitement turned to fear as they came face to face with the source of the haunting melody, a dilapidated ice cream truck, its paint peeling and its windows darkened. Sarah, ever the brave one, approached the truck with cautious steps, her hand clasped tightly in Tommy's. But as they drew nearer, they realized with growing horror that something was terribly wrong. The vendor was nowhere to be seen, and the air was thick with an oppressive sense of foreboding. Ignoring the warning signs, Sarah reached out to touch the side of the truck, her fingers grazing the cold metal with trepidation. And then, in an instant, everything changed. The world around them shifted, and the familiar surroundings of the park melted away, replaced by a dark and desolate landscape. Confusion turned to panic as the children realized they were no longer in Oakview Park, but trapped inside the icy confines of the ice cream truck, their screams drowned out by the deafening silence of the void. Hours passed, or perhaps only minutes. It was impossible to tell in the timeless expanse of the truck's interior. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the darkness receded, and the children found themselves standing once more in the familiar surroundings of the park. But something had changed. Sarah and Tommy were no longer alone. The other children who had followed them into the truck were nowhere to be seen, their laughter silenced by the sinister presence that lurked within. With a sense of dread gnawing in their stomachs, Sarah and Tommy fled from the park, their hearts heavy with the weight of the unknown. And though they searched tirelessly for their missing friends, they were never seen again, their disappearance shrouded in mystery and whispered about in hushed tones for years to come. To this day, the children of Brookfield Heights avoid Oakview Park after dark, lest they too fall victim to the icy grasp of the ice cream truck and the dark forces that lie in wait within. If you're finding value in this video so far, do me a quick favor and hit that like button below. Enjoy. In the dead of night, when the streets of Brookfield Heights lay shrouded in darkness, and the only sound was the distant hum of the city, there existed a figure who prowled the shadows, a sinister vendor who peddled his wares to the unsuspecting souls who dared to venture out after hours. Emily, a timid young woman with a penchant for late-night walks, found herself drawn to the deserted streets of her neighborhood, seeking solace in the stillness of the night. The air was heavy with the scent of rain, and a sense of foreboding clung to her like a second skin as she made her way through the dimly lit streets. As Emily turned the corner onto Maple Street, she saw him, a lone figure standing beneath the flickering glow of a street lamp, his silhouette cast in shadow against the darkness of the night. The vendor's cart, a decrepit contraption adorned with faded banners and peeling paint, stood beside him like a silent sentinel. Curiosity getting the better of her, Emily approached the vendor with cautious steps, her footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. The man regarded her with a knowing smile, his eyes gleaming in the dim light. "Care for a treat, miss?" he asked, his voice smooth as silk but laced with an undercurrent of malice. Emily hesitated, her instincts screaming at her to turn and flee. But something about the vendor's gaze held her captive. Against her better judgment, she nodded, her voice barely a whisper, as she placed her order, a simple vanilla cone. As the vendor prepared her treat, Emily couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled over her like a heavy shroud. The air seemed to grow colder with each passing moment, and a sense of dread washed over her like a tidal wave. With trembling hands, Emily accepted the ice cream cone, the chill of the night air sending a shiver down her spine. But as she took the first tentative lick, the world around her seemed to shift and warp, twisting into a nightmarish landscape of shadows and despair. The vendor's smile widened, revealing rows of gleaming teeth as he watched Emily's terror with cold amusement. "Enjoy your treat, my dear," he whispered, his voice dripping with malice. "You've just made a deal with the devil." With a cry of fear, Emily stumbled backward, her ice cream cone slipping from her grasp and tumbling to the ground, forgotten in her haste to escape. She ran until her lungs burned and her legs threatened to give out beneath her, the echo of the vendor's laughter haunting her every step. To this day, Emily refuses to speak of what happened that fateful night. Some say she was lucky to escape with her life, while others believe she made a pact with the sinister vendor that can never be undone, a bargain forged in the darkness that will follow her to the grave. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. Your support helps us keep creating awesome content for you.